On the day we got to perform at the Raleigh Ringers, we woke up really early in the morning.
It isn't even 6 a.m. on the West Coast yet.
And hopped on a van from May Mandy Hall. We were participating in an event called Virtuoso, hosted by the Raleigh Ringers, where 28 of us were invited to Raleigh, North Carolina for 3 days of intense handbell rigging. We started rehearsals on Friday afternoon, earlier than scheduled in fact, because we were all so eager to get going. And now on Sunday morning we were traveling to the concert hall that would host our final concert. May Mandy Hall, which would host our final concert, was enormous. I knew that the point of Virtuoso was to be able to perform with the Raleigh Ringers, but it wasn't until we reached May Mandy that it's finally sunk in that this was actually happening. But that feeling didn't last long because there was plenty of work to be done. Watching the Raleigh Ringers set up is like watching organized chaos unfold. Everyone in the Raleigh Ringers has the thing that they do, whether it's unpack the sales table, set up the bass bells, or iron the drapes. There was so much to do, but at the same time it was hard not to feel like we were in the way. There were almost 3 times as many people backstage as the Raleigh Ringers were used to, so most of us just ended up awkwardly standing around watching until someone gave us a task. But it was impressive to watch. They even have their own lighting director who makes their performances look so stunning. The Raleigh Ringers did, however, make us feel like we were part of the group. The entire weekend they were amazing hosts. They gave us Virtuoso mugs, binders, and lanyards, and even put our logo next to theirs on stage.
We should get that on a personalized beer.
Once everything was set up, it was time to warm up. Even though we had been hanging out with them for a couple days, this was my first time actually watching the Raleigh Ringers perform, so I just sat there giddily enjoying myself. I also found where they hid the lava lamp. Then it was our turn to warm up. Striking our first note on that giant stage was wonderful and exhilarating, and you could hear the final cutoffs reverberate through that enormous space. Did you catch our cool belt passing trick there? The exhilaration was short-lived though, because before we knew it, the audience was arriving. Over 500 tickets were sold to the concert, which made it the largest crowd I had ever seen at a Bell concert. We got to hang out backstage and participate in the Raleigh Ringers' pre-concert tradition of arguing over whether Winter Mints or Spearmints were the best flavor.
Clearly it's the wintergreen. Clearly. I hate wintergreen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh Ringers.
Because we were performing in the middle of the concert, we got to watch the Raleigh Ringers open. It was incredible to see how poised and professional they looked on stage. I would have enjoyed my first Raleigh Ringer concert even more, but all I could think about was, dear God, I have to go up there and perform in a few minutes. But before we knew it, we were backstage. There is nothing more exhilarating and nerve-wracking than listening to a concert from backstage, knowing that you were on next.
We're next.
And then we were on. I obviously don't have any footage of that because I was a little bit preoccupied, so assume we sounded perfect. The whole concert lasted over 2 hours, but time went by in a flash, and soon it was time to take everything down. At that point, though, we all felt like we were part of the group. I think what struck me most about spending time with the Raleigh Ringers is how normal their group was. They weren't extraordinary people or handbell divas, they don't really rehearse much more than my group back at home does, and none of the ringers get paid. What makes their group so unique is the devotion each and every ringer puts into their craft. They are true professional musicians, and it shows in everything they do. So hopefully I'll get a chance to fly across the country and ring with them again in the future. But until then, I will just enjoy using my Virtuoso mug.